I myself am quite nervous, especially from a homebrew perspective, but I hope that you will all enjoy what is to come. Um, so let us begin the journey of the curse of the Wishwoods. Let me begin again with re with the retelling of a certain bard's story. The Wishwoods, a fable, a myth, a story to entertain children, a tale told from grandfather to grandson, or from grandmother to granddaughter, from town and city storytellers to the people, sung in bard songs and mentioned in a myriad of performance plays. It is a concept used in many ways, in many forms, and in many, many cultures. The story, although different from culture to culture, stems around the same concept. There exists a forest that never stays in one place. They say that the heart of the forest houses a power so strong it can grant a wish of any kind. Those who search for it merely have to find it and traverse its many paths. And then their deepest desires will be made real. Many adventurers, explorers, or lone wolves with reasons their own have attempted to find these elusive woods. And many stories have come from them. Stories of a forest that never stays in one place, a mirage slipping away from vision in the blink of an eye. They speak of places that were swallowed whole by the woods, leaving nothing but clean fields. They speak of wonders and beauty, sights that enrapture them, ingraining visions forever etched in their mind. They speak of survivors who escaped, driven mad and insane, some killed for their insanity, others just killed themselves, for if they could not go back to bliss, it was not a life worth living. Many stories, many tales, yet the stories all end the same, with a warning. Do not search for the woods, because those who find it will be consumed by it. But come now, who would believe a myth anyway? Said the bard to its audience. Let us talk of a more uplifting tale, shall we? So, let me set the stage with a little bit of music. Charles, around you, you see only darkness, even though you feel your eyes are closed. They feel they look as if they are open. You hear whispers everywhere around you. You cannot discern whether it's in front of you, behind you, or anywhere around you. At the beginning, you can also not understand them. They are slow whispers. You feel cold, but yet there is sweat dripping from your body. You have the instinct to move your hand to wipe it away, and it feels as if you're paralyzed. Standing, yet on the ground? The voices slowly but surely start to become louder, beckoning to you, telling you something. It's strange still. You start to hear words, but understand nothing. You have that sense of dread around you, and suddenly you hear flickering and cracking as if, yes, wood is cracking. You hear the sound of fire, but yet there is no light. And those voices, suddenly, they weren't voices that were beckoning, they were pushing you away, to go away, to stop. You feel the flames starting to go around you everywhere. And they become more visual. You see them more in front of you. The flames are black. Gray, black, dark, everywhere around you. The voices around you are screaming right now. They're afraid of you, maybe? From the flames? You hear a singular voice telling you to wake up. And you do. You stand up. At least half. You're still on the ground. You look around you. You see your little fire, your little campfire that you made flickered out. Yet you can still hear the snapping of the woods. You think that that is what you heard in your dream. You feel your sweat dripping from your head, explaining as to why you were sweating, but having no form of coverage from sleep would explain your cold. Charlotte, can you describe your character to everybody here? Introduce him to us.
Should
Okay.
I?
No. All right. When I wake up, I grab my mace and like, okay, it has been a few years since I came from that damned place, that's hellhole of a church. And I keep having this dream. I've heard lately about this Wishwoods. Maybe it can grant me my wish. I guess I'll go to the nearby town to read more about it. About this accursed Witchwoods, and if they can grant me my ultimate wish.
Right. So, you described perfectly how your character is and what it was trying to do. I would also love a visual explanation of how your character looks.
Okay. Um, it's morning, right?
I will explain more about your environment once, as it has more impact about what's going to happen. I would love for you to just merely explain the basics of your character. I think I've opened up your character sheet to everybody, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so they can also see at least the intended avatar. You may derive from it, because unfortunately we do not have the option to always have perfectly drawn characters as we imagine them. But uh, do your best to visualize your character from the concept of your character avatar.
All right. I'm a hooded person with long blonde hair. My race, I prefer to not tell, because I will be wearing this hood for a long time. Apart from that, I'm like middle-aged, blue eyes, white skin, pale skin.
Right. It's perfect. It's perfect. So, you woke up. You had your mace ready around you as a result of your panicked wake up. Uh, you never know, when sleeping in the dangers of the non-civilized environment are always present. You asked about the weather, and you notice that around you everywhere, nothing is the same as when you went to sleep. You remember that you were at the edge of a clearing that was starting to go towards a path, sort of like a man-made path in the middle, where left and right there are trees and small woods. But this time There is no path. There is only a myriad of trees all around you. You panic a little bit. This more because of a combination of your dream and your immediate reaction as to why your environment has changed. As you take one step in front, your foot kicks into something and you look downwards. In front of you stands a lone book, very plain looking. You don't remember ever having a book with you. You had scrolls, you had your faith, you had your symbol of faith, you had your weapon, your shield, but you don't remember this book. It is a plain book with a brown cover, and the only distinct look it has is the silver X in front of it.
I reach
What
for
will
the.
you do with it?
I'm gonna be foolhardy and I'm gonna reach for the book and open it.
So you touch the book with your hand. Your fingers go over the leather because it is leather. Now that you actually touch it, that's what the brown is. And you glaze over it, and the leather actually feels lukewarm at the touch. And when you race over the edges, the silver edges, it actually feels quite cold, which is actually pretty normal to your knowledge. But a bit more colder than you would have expected. But maybe that could be the sweat, your body temperature changing from having a bad dream. The book itself is actually quite thick. To give a perspective, it would be like as thick as a 500-page book, at least to your experience, but it weighs virtually nothing. It almost feels like a feather to you. You let me first open something. So you try to open the book, is what I'm trying to say, but you're unable to. It's like it's frozen shut. You get a bit annoyed. First, you find the book, and then my apologies. This is important. I need to answer this phone call.
Ali, god damn it.
That opening though.
Ali, god damn it. Like, he already gets a cool book?
Yes, I already have a cool
I hope
book.
it kills you.
Well, I'm gonna do detect arcana since I can't.
No,
open
lick
but-
it. Lick it.
No, I'm not gonna lick it.
You need to know why it was lukewarm. Maybe someone sat on it. Maybe you can take the scent.
God damn it, I'm not a ranger edge, I'm a cleric.
Be a fucking bloodhound.
Jesus Christ.
Wait, why did everyone get purged? Oh, never mind. For a second, it looked like everyone got purged from the Wishwoods.
Also, Charlie, where did you steal your art from?
Oh, Google.
Oh.
I literally looked for like half an hour and I was like, oh, this one looks nice.
I feel like I've seen it before in a game.
Ah, must be your imagination.
All right. So to continue, you are unable to open the book. It frustrates you a little bit. And as much as you try to wiggle your fingers in between the pages, it's almost like it's just one block of wood rather than pages to open, although it doesn't visually seem so. Honestly, what will you do?
Can I roll Arcana on it?
You want to do the first roll already? All right. First roll of the campaign. Go for an Arcana check. Can you a bit more while you do the roll? Can you be a bit more specific as to what you're trying to discern from the book?
I'm trying to discern what type of spell is holding the pages together, like is keeping me from opening them.
So normally, if you want to know what type of spell that is, you will need to cast a spell called Detect Magic. Just purely using an Arcana check is more to understand the concept of something that you already know what it is. That's first. And secondly, to maybe discern if there are any magical effects at all. But to be more specific than that, you need to use a Detect Magic spell.
Okay. Am I allowed to change my Arcana wish?
Your Arcana to what now?
No, like my effect of why I roll Arcana.
Yeah, sure. What would you like to check?
I'd like to check if it holds any significance to any major like magic construction that I've seen before.
So, okay, that is a very good. So first of all, you want to discern it a little bit around magic. Your Arcana check is high enough, and you do feel a faint magic from it. But your roll history. I want you to roll a history check. Okay, that's good. You remember this type of magic from that book from certain knowledge that you've been trying to amass throughout your years after a certain event.
All right, then in that case, I get a slight hint of excitedness and start to look around me if there's anyone nearby.
All right, let me take a look. So, as I described before, you're not in the same place as you were before you woke up. So, and you do look around. Everything is much denser. So it's not that there is no fog. Everything is clear, but the trees high above you they are very high, like 4 times your height, and the bushes that they create with their leaves is so dense that it is hard for any form of sunlight to go through. Yet you don't see any god rays if there is sunlight. So where is the light coming from? You are unsure. Um, Initially, by looking around, you don't really see anyone. Um, but as you're looking around, you hear a strange, let's just say, zapping sound, and like a heavy bag, bomb, dropped on the ground. Uh, but it's not close by. It's a bit far. But you've heard the sound of bags dropping on the floor or something dropping on the floor enough times in your time at the church. Um, so what will you do?
I will hide the book in my backpack or whatever it
All
is.
right. So you put the book in your backpack. You feel the little tingle from the book going away as you put it in, and you go straight through towards that strange sound that suddenly happened. We change scenery. Peter,
Hmm.
around you there are many, many lights. Like not rainbow lights, but flashing lights, as if you were, as if people were snapping different colors of magic in front of your eyes. You're trying everything in your power to not go into anything that would be as a form of a seizure. But at the same time, you think you're standing still, but your body is moving. You feel whatever is probably air go through your face, At the same time, with the lights, it is hard for you to even keep your eyes open. And suddenly, rather than falling forward, gravity shifts and you fall downwards. Bam! Like a sack, like a bag on the ground. And you feel as you fall on the ground, right with your face down on the ground with your chest, and you feel your air leaving your body, and you feel disoriented. That's the first thing you do once your brain starts to get a bit more in line with its surroundings and what is happening, and you slowly start to stand up. Um, you cough many times as your body is trying to regulate the air that it's lost from the lungs, and the first thing you do is you actually dust off your entire body, as you've always been schooled in keeping everything tidy. Your other people in your situation would instantly start to panic, but your keen mind has, even though you from a young age still um, read and understood many a concept in a logical way rather than emotional one. You look into your around your environment, what is happening while still dusting off, and around you you see dense forest. Um, and before we continue on, while you're looking around, why don't you describe your character to everybody?
All right. So, my character is wearing a chocolate brown leather coat and has a blueberry blue vest at the splitting at the bottom so you can see the belt, which is nice leather, brown leather. And under all of that, you can see the top of his white shirt, and he's also wearing a pendant, but that is hidden. You can only see the chain holding it. Where did I got it? Yeah. Uh, he's in his mid 30s, a human with a slight tan, black hair with some red mixed in a ponytail, pretty thin, and yeah, navy blue eyes, X scar under his left eye, and a nice 5 o'clock shadow.
All
That would be it
right.
for the appearance.
Okay. So, um, now that everybody has an idea of who is looking around, um, you do notice the small clearing, which you are on right now. You did fall on the ground, but behind you you see the grass. It's about as green as normal grass can get, but a bit where your feet were while you were flat on the ground, face down, um, you do notice a little singe right there, like but in a straight line from left to right. Um, and it's not like something was on fire because otherwise it would have spread. It's just fully singed. Some of the grass is even completely gray, and strangely enough, you don't even see any dust or ash at all. It's just singed, gone.
Could I ascertain if it's done by magic?
Roll me either investigation or arcana.
Let's go with investigation.
All right, that is enough. You touch the field, even though by your teachings you were always informed to never first touch something. But considering your circumstance, you do want to understand the situation as fast as possible. Considering what happened moments prior before you dropped here, you brush your fingers over the place, and you notice that this. Roll me a history check.
Mm-hmm.
You notice that this is the same result when portals are opened. The energy that that a portal exhumes is so hot that it singes certain parts of if it's too close to the ground or too close to objects. But you also notice that when a portal closes, there is an implosion effect where it then explains why there is no ash or dust, because whatever ash or dust was there or happened because of the heat was instantly sucked up into the portal. You can also ascertain that the weird gravitational laws in terms of teleportation are lost to a lot of scholars. It is still an unknown field. And you do try to think about how in the world did a portal that was 90 degrees upwards from the ground make me fall flat from above all the way to the ground. So that's a mystery for you to uncover. So this is where you think, or at least with whatever is around you, is where you originated from, where you came in. At that point, you also stand up a bit fast and you try to look around for your supposed partner, or at least not really a partner, but supposed target you were following around should also be here. Yet you see no other forms of results from a portal around you. Is there anything else you would like to do with that information?
Maybe there were 2 portals, so
So currently, with my explanation, there was one portal, at least from your
yeah,
first thought.
yeah. Could I look around if I see any areas that were singed that could potentially mean there was a second portal?
Roll me a perception check. All right. So you took a look around, and you're trying to specifically find areas where portals could have appeared at all. You also need to keep in mind that although I explained that portals have after effects, does not mean that when portals open up in the air, do not leave any form of after effects, as they cannot singe everything around them if it's just air.
Right.
With this perception check and everything together, you piece together that the singe on the ground, combined with how you fell on the floor, could not have been your portal. It could have been another portal, but yours was from the air.
That's great.
So I might note that maybe not just for Peter, but for other ones for you, it is very important to keep notes. I'm not saying that this has to be kept for notes, but for your ease of remembrance, it is always good to keep notes.
One quick question here.
Yes.
We only keep note of our own things, not of other people's things. We're not metagaming this, right?
No,
Like-
no. You don't have to. You can, because there are possibilities, and especially with that you're grouped together, at some point some parts could crisscross between people in terms of how their quest lines or even just the main storyline works together. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay, sorry.
if something interests you, even though it has nothing to do with your storyline, just write it. It cannot hurt anyone. So to continue on, at the same time as you do your perception and you don't find any other points of portals, you do notice that the dense forest around you
Yeah, it's not.
clears up on two
It's not.
sides, one on your left, one on your right. On because you see that the trees sort of like bend into an arch, into like a small opening.
That
The
was me,
one
not you.
side is a bit more open, and you can see a little bit of the road. Well, road. It's not really a road, but of the gateway that it's kind of like. The other side is much more darker and denser. And that's what you can see. So you see two entrances or exits, depending on who and what. So with all these things that have happened, you as a very schooled person flip open your notebook and you write down the important aspects of your discoveries for future references. Your little small book is a small dark green notebook with a curious single black question mark in the middle. You remember this little book as it was given to you more of as a joke by your friend Jack, but considering your past events, you have kept this little book quite close to your heart. Because even though it was a joke in terms of its appearance, the neat little thing that this book can do is that once you have no use of the information that is in it, it erases itself. So you can keep using the book in terms of infinitely. As you are writing down and you type in the final dots on the I's and the punctuations, you hear a crack on the from the woods side, and as the openings are left and right, south from you appears a strange hooded cleric, at least from first glance. All right. We change scenery. Just for clarity purposes, admittance, how is your first name pronounced?
Dolvain.
Dolvain. All right. Dolvain, I would like for you to immediately start off with how your character looks, as it is currently walking towards a forest entrance.
It's a high elf, average of height for elves. Long blonde hair, green eyes, pale, skinny yet muscular, and always wearing light plate armor.
All right. So, this is how, at least, he envisions how it looks. Short and sweet, and that's very cool. So, Dolvain, you are walking with unrelenting steps. These are uh, core to you as with your upbringing from your martial teachings and the teachings of the Imperial Army, and you have a goal in mind. All these things combined, you have a conviction that you ah um, one little second. Is it going to be long, re or?
Just go ahead. Don't worry.
All right. Because you have to find this forest. You have to find the core of this powerful witch. You do not have time to get distracted. You have your goal. You promised your wife that you would get there and fix everything that has happened. Although you do walk with an imperial posture, a small moment of hurt passes through your mind as you remember the horrors of a few of the nights happened a few summers ago, and you clutch a necklace that is dangling around your neck. It is a small silver diamond-shaped necklace, with on the side a small red, but very, very small ruby, you think? And you click on it. And as it opens, it's sort of like splits in half from the side of where you pushed the little ruby, and you see two pictures in it. On the left side, you see your first family, the one that you had at Duskstrider's Sanctum. You see your father, you see your mother, you see your 3 sisters and your 2 brothers. On the other side, you see your wife and yourself. You are embracing each other, and in front, you see your children, your 2 children. One is kind of like pushing the other one away as the other one is trying to like give them a hug. As you see that the one sort of doesn't know what personal space is, and the other one is still trying to trying to get in there. You see yourself with a soft smile, and you see your wife looking in front of her, trying to be as serious as possible. Although you after all these years with her, you knew the little ticks that she had, the small little line on her left eye indicates that she was getting annoyed at that moment, while the children were sort of ruining pictures. But it is a memory you keep close to yourself, despite all the hardships that have come after. You start getting closer to the forest entrance. You hope that this might be the forest you were looking for, because this has been the 15th time that you have spent a season or 2 away from your wife in search of these elusive woods. And you don't know how much you can take, how much more you can take, how much more she can take, because you have been denying your mourning process with the possibility of being able to wish whatever happened back. You click your necklace shut. At that instant moment, you hear a little giggling sound, like going around you. Like you first you don't see anything, but then you see a small ball of light, with wings. You think about the size of your fist. But it's not really a ball of light. It's the creature that is like that, just is emitting so much light that it looks like it's a ball of light. From first glance, you with your knowledge, you can already deduce that it is a fey-like creature. And before you can do anything, it snatches your necklace. What do you do?
I chase it to grab it back.
All right. So your reaction is instant.
Yes.
You see that something of incredible value to you is taken, and although for you a very serious offense, the Fae is clearly enjoying itself. It is giggling, it is laughing every time you try to snatch it with your hand, just by a small hair to get from the necklace. It goes upwards more, and then it goes further away, and you also run hard after it. I want you to roll me a athletics check. So you go to your character sheet, and next to your numbers on the left side, there are two columns. The bottom one with skills, I think athletics should be the fourth option. Can you click on the name athletics?
It says, for some reason, it says, how do you want to create this character?
Create this character. Can you share your screen for a little second?
No. 1 second.
I mean, just not that screen. I mean, like, as in just the Roll20.
Not currently, sadly.
Right. That is strange.
No, because I'm not on my PC.
Right. Oh, okay. I understand it. Okay. Then can you screenshot it and send it into the adventure room? Just click on edit sheet directly, and it'll be fine.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And then you will see athletics on the left side. It's, I think, the fourth one. You just need to click on it. Oh, wow. Okay. Very good. So you don't lose sight of it. Your conviction to get back your important trinket is enough to get your adrenaline to a level where you run fast enough to not lose sight of the creature. Just as you, let's just say you've been running for about 30 seconds, evading all forms of like vines or trees, trunks. Sometimes the Fae does like 2 twirls around a tree and then goes further. At some point in a small tree, you also do the same for some apparent reason, just trying to catch it. Even though the tree is so small, you could have just stand still and tried to snatch it. But you go forward, and then the Fae dives behind 2 trees that sort of like co-line together. You have to squeeze a little bit through, but it gets a bit darker right over there. And as you do that, at that exact moment, you trip, and just not just normal trip. At the same time, whatever you tripped over shouts. It's like, "Hey!" And you fall to the ground. We change scenery. Zolp. I want you to describe yourself as you are exiting your cave.
Okay, Zolb is a middling height for a goblin, about meet at all. Although he's classed well into adulthood, he's not particularly old, about 20 years, give or take. Goblins don't really count very well. He's got a slightly bulbous nose with beady black eyes with dark green skin, but his skin's covered in a multitude of scars, mainly burns with some cuts and bruises. Though he is wearing a ragged set of heavy armor, and while generally bald, like most goblins, he has got a big, dirty beard made of a rat.
Right.
What?
That was. He has a beard created of a rat. Like I said, the visual appearances that you get of an
I love it.
avatar do not equate to what his characters actually is. By normal means, goblins don't always have beards, or not at all. So just for to understand the perspective. So you exit the cave. You keep your posture up as you exit the cave. At the same time, just because you try your best to stand serious, your instinct sometimes can go over yourself. You could you have those little moments of like looking around to see if there is no form of danger to attack you, but very quickly you put yourself in line. You brush everything off. You go with your hand over your rat beard, as in a thinking, uh, as if you're thinking very deeply, and you're confused. As for the hell of whatever happened, you do not remember any trees at all when you last entered your cave. Last you remembered, you were at a very, very open clearing, and they are very dense. Um, Considering your need for information and you're just a general curiosity as to what the hell happened and where am I, you take a few steps every time you look around. You try to inspect where you actually are. You take a little bit of the ground to see if you were familiar with the soil. Maybe find anything of use for any forms of smithing. Um, in your investigating trance, you turn around and suddenly more trees? Oh no. Where is your cave entrance? Uh, you try to run back, but you've been stepping more than you stepped before. You were at the point where you suddenly or were lost actually. Uh, so you cannot find your cave entrance anymore, and you're mad. You're furious because a lot of your tools were in there. A lot of your creations, although not very advanced, were in there. A lot of your personal belongings were in there. And if there is one thing you will not like, and that is losing your possessions. Um, the only consolation is that you have your most important possessions for traveling on your person. As you're stepping and thinking, who the hell took away all of your possessions? You hear rustling from behind you. At the same time, a small ball of light zoops right through in front of your eyes. You look towards where it's running away, and at the same time, you are crashed with a body that is about 2 to 3 times your size, and you fall down. The impact, as you fall, you try to hold on to something, but you fail to do that, and your arm, your hand, instead of catching something, your hand slips and you graze your arm over a particularly sturdy tree, and it's I forgot the word, over its bark. This act has initiated your greatest fear, where your most prized coin is dislodged from your skin. You feel the sting and the pain as it is ripped off. But at the moment of also falling down, it doesn't immediately fall to conscious that it was your coin. You thought that you maybe got scratched or hit. So now both you and not any more mysterious, because as the dust clears, you see that a high elf has dropped upon you. What do you do?
Sort of mix between rage and cowering. I sort of want to lash out at them, but I'm also sort of scared that I'm going to bite off more than I can chew. So I sort of try and hide behind the tree and shout abuse.
All right, so you instantly stand up, even though you are below its feet. You have enough strength to, or well, enough finesse to wiggle yourself out of it, and you run towards behind like whatever tree is big enough to, and you shout profanities of the biggest kind, which is weird for a at least the kind of profanities that come out of your mouth. That do not really mix up with a goblin. At the same time, you still fail to notice the blood that is dripping from your arm, as where the coin was lodged in. The hole there is still hurt, and you shout profanities at what is clearly Dolvain. Dolvain, what do? You are currently flat on the ground. You hear on one side a very angry goblin, or at least you think it was a goblin, but it sounds like a dwarf, shouting profanities at you. And on the other side, you hear the still laughing little fey creature, because it seems it doesn't run away anymore. It's like it's waiting for you to stand up. What are you doing?
I ignore the profanity and just instantly go to the Fae.
All right, so you immediately stand up from your prone position, and you again make haste after it. But rather than go away from where you are, it like runs towards you, and just as you try to like clap it with both your hands, like smash it together, it goes like right under your legs. And while you are shouting your profanities, you look at to where the Fae is running towards. You see that it is running towards your coin. You suddenly see and notice that you don't have it anymore while it's running towards it. What do you do?
I just jump at the coin, try and get there as fast as possible.
Roll me an athletics check.
Ouch.
Ooh,
Just that's the first nat one, people.
Let's go.
So
nice.
just as you run towards it, you're actually fast enough. But just as you're trying to extend your hand to pick up the coin, that's when the the pain of the wound gets to you. The stretching of your arm makes it so that the wound like sends a pain towards your entire arm, like it's like has a second of a paralysis, and as it's trying to understand where the pain came from, and you unfortunately miss your mark, and the face snatches your coin, and together with the coin and the necklace, it has found another playmate and runs off with both. What do you do? What do you two do?
I quickly start following, completely ignoring everything else around me.
All right, Dolvain.
Same.
Same. All right. Love it. So you chase the creature within the darkness of the woods, and we change scenery again.
Oh.
We are seeing a setup camp. There is a small reddish tent on the side with a decently made fire in the middle, a campfire in the middle. At this point, it is a little bit darker, let us say, but not completely night. But combined with how the trees are, we notice that there is a more gloomy environment right now. On the left side, laying with its back towards a tree, is a tiefling. The tiefling itself is, at least from what you can see, is reading a book. For some strange reason, you can see the wordings on the book called "Camping for Dummies," and with her one hand, and she's faintly scratching over her chest area, like a little tick that people have when they are either doing something and without thinking of it with her other hand. In this situation, Edge, please describe your character to us.
Yes, so my turn now, finally. So, I'm the only girl in the party, apparently. I am a tiefling. I have wings. And yeah, they're basically, it's not like angel stuff. It's more like a giant bat wing. I'm wearing light armor with basically a lot of green and brown colors. I have a bow next to me, and I have two horns, basically. I have long-ish blonde hair and red eyes.
All right. Can you tell us the name of your character?
Oh, sorry, Sabine. Indeed.
All right. So we see, as I said, Sabine just sort of like humming a small little song that she probably heard from somewhere. A bit more carefree, yeah? A bit more gigglish, and she's still reading her book very and gently. What's happening is she's using her four fingers, keeping the book open, and then with her thumb, she just uses like her very sharp one nail and like opens the next page while she's still scratching her chest with her other hand, indicating that she does have a lot of experience reading books without having to use both hands to just read. A very neat little quirk that is apparent with experienced people in reading. And you notice that the pages, she goes through them fast, indicating a very intelligent level of reading capabilities. On As that is happening, she's continued reading her Camping for Dummies. On the opposite side of the fire is a shadowy character, combined with the dark clothes that are endowed upon it. You hear very sharp noises, like every time. We see what is assumed to be a goblin again, and it has a little sharpening stone, and it is going over its daggers slowly but precise. The force and the technique for the sharpening, so elegant yet precise that you see the sparks going off from the daggers. Once he was done with one side, he changes the dagger to the other side in a certain angle, and starts doing this again. But the goblin is not even looking at the daggers. No, it is looking at a few little pendants that are next to the fire. Um, they are trophies of. They are trophies and you are still looking at those pendants intently, as if you are daring them to run away? Question mark. And still, for whatever reason, could it be experience or whatnot, you still manage to keep the correct way of sharpening these daggers. Ree, I would like for you to describe your character, please.
Right. Bit on the taller side for a goblin. Always hooded, dark clothes. Could be mistaken for a dwarf if it hadn't been for his really dark green skin and a nose pointing out of his hood. His eyes are glowing orange, not your typical goblin eyes. And yeah, he's pretty much a shady, scary character.
All right. So, and what is the name of your character?
Skux.
All right. So, at this moment, we do see Sabine and Skux doing whatever it is that they are doing to pass their time next to the campfire. And you notice that there is a
Yeah.
sorry, what?
Do we notice the people running towards us?
So, as I was saying, everything was decently peaceful at that point while Skux is sharpening his final dagger. Sabine was already halfway through the book, which she started like 10 minutes prior. And you hear ruffling sounds. And this ruffling sound, well, what are your passive perceptions, Sabine and Skux?
Passive is
13.
12.
How about 13?
Well, and 13. That's all right. I retract my statement. You barely don't hear a ruffling sound on the side that is opposite of where the tent is, which means that Sabine is left, Skux is right, the tent is then north, and the shuffling sound is, well, if you would have heard it, is from the south.
Okay.
And in a surprising manner, a wolf jumps out from the bushes. It is a strange wolf, at least even though you were surprised. Sabine, being a ranger herself, has a decent-ish experience in terms of animals to see. Can you roll me a animal
boy.
handling check at disadvantage because you're surprised?
All right, here we go. Oh,
All right, so that's a 16, which is decent. In normal circumstances, this wolf is a bit bigger than your average. At first, like in the second that you see it, you would think that it would have been an alpha wolf. Yet the wolf, also wolves normally are in packs, but this one came out alone, and it is, let's just say it is running, question mark, instantly towards the fire. At least that's what your idea was. And you see the wolf like jump over the fire, like you're both still surprised from the instant appearance, and it snatches the pendants of Skux. At the moment where he snatches them and turns around is what you can react upon. What do you do?
I'll
Let's just
immediately
start
start.
with Skux, who's a bit closer.
I already have a dagger in hand, so I want to just throw it at its skull.
Okay, so you're trying to throw the skull.
No, the
Throw
dagger.
the dagger at the skull. All right. And Sabine, although you're a bit further away, let's just say that you both act at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
All right. First of all, I want you to both. Sorry. First, tell me what Edge is gonna do. What Sabine is gonna do.
Give me just a. I'll probably just grab an arrow and shoot it.
All right. You're trying to shoot an arrow.
Yeah.
You may both try to hit at disadvantage.
Oof.
That's a miss.
Technically, I can roll twice. Oh,
Disadvantage. Why twice? Can you repeat that?
Because I'm a Gloomstalker in the first. Is this combat?
No, this is just pre-combat.
Does
Well, you
15
need
hit?
to hit it. No, it does not hit. So as it is a very elusive wolf, at least from your first glance, it was already very strange when you noticed its appearance, and it's going to dash away, and it runs towards a small opening of trees, which you both have to to be able to go to the same path. You have to go like sideways from the trees, making it so that it can go a bit further than you. So what do? Because all of your camping stuff is here, and the wolf is running away with the pendants.
Cooks,
I am
what are we
dashing
gonna
after
do?
it and drawing my short sword.
All right, so you draw your short sword and you dash after it. Sabine, what will you do?
I will look very confused and run after them.
All right, can you both roll me an athletics check, please? At normal. Oh, wow!
We
What is
are
that?
two quick passes.
Holy shit! All right, no, this was more for the intent of if something bad would happen, but nothing bad will happen. That's for sure. You both are done with it's not even started, but you're like done with this little farce, and you you are hot on the heels of this wolf, both of you. While this is happening, we change scenery again. Zolp, you are also on the holy shit, 2 nat ones in a row. Sorry. You are both still running, just as Sabine and Skux are towards the wolf, and are running after the Fae who has the coin and the pendant in its clutches, and it's a very, very small clearing, but you see that the Fae gets there, and just as it gets into the clearing, you notice ruffling from the left side as you came from behind it. And just as she's there in the air, a wolf comes out and snaps a giant mouth around the Fae as it goes like, ah! And then instantly like snapped, and then keeps running forward. You also see in its like around its like neck, probably what it was, like little small like little small dangling amulets as well. At least that's what Dolvain and we can immediately discern, considering that he's trying to find an amulet. But your amulet is literally been snapped with its mouth, like in its mouth, together with Xolp's coin, and it runs through. And just as it snaps its mouth closed and goes with the whatever is it's now in its stomach, probably, you see like a another goblin just like
Yeah, thanks for doing that.
going like right with its short sword and its dagger with
I
murder
need
as
to fix them.
intent.
They were only for Subnautica.
And then you also
But
see
welcome.
a tiefling running behind it as well, with quite the elegance of its athletics, because it's also keeping its wings flat together behind its back, very smart, so that it doesn't get caught into anything while it is running. What do you two do as you see them pass through? You see the Fae being swallowed up with your possessions. What do you do?
Well, first I stand there flabbergasted, not knowing what's going on, and then I chase after it.
All right, so it is a chase fest, indeed. And Zolp, what about you?
I just carry on not thinking about anything other than the coin.
All right, so currently, I'll consider your previous athletics rolls as what's currently is going on. So all four of you are currently going after the wolf. We change scenery again. Charles and Peter. So last we left you, Peter was investigating and deduced that there was probably a second portal. And at that moment, after looking at your surroundings, you hear and see the cleric approach you. What will you both do?
I will wave my hand in the air and say, "Hello there."
Hello, who are you? Where is this place?
I was hoping you could answer that since I am completely lost.
Great. That's just great.
Yeah.
Let me guess. Did you suddenly appear here?
Yeah, that seems about right.
Spectacular.
I
I'm
remember.
Peter.
Oh. Well, I'm Charles, by the way. Apologies for my rude introduction.
Right, so you were remembering something?
Yes, I was nearing a town. I remember setting up camp for the night and then falling asleep, and now I'm here. Do you remember anything about a forest near a town called um, Graafsholm?
Do I remember anything about that?
Let me check a few stuff.
It was made up.
Yeah, I noticed. You're gonna find a good way to pronounce and write that, and you're gonna send that to me. Now, roll me a history check.
Sure.
All right. Even though you've had many classes on the general geography around your around the institute where you were taught at, you fail to find any form of, or at least you fail to remember any form of names, whether that would be of not remembering or not having been taught that at all. So yeah, the answer would be no.
Never heard of such a place?
Interesting.
That's a very good idea. Okay. All right. As you are trying to discern what is happening around here and why you both are here, can you both tell me your passive perceptions, please?
13.
0. Oh, perception. No, that's not initiative. 15.
50. Oh, okay, 50. So
15.
and 15. And Peter, yours is
13.
13. All right. So Peter, with you clearly thinking about this little Graf's home as you do your best to remember it, the you on the other hand, Charles, still being a little bit on edge from the, not our edge, I mean on edge, that from your dream and whatnot, you hear the ruffling of the trees before, almost before it even happens, and the same wolf that I've been describing suddenly jumps out from the clearing, and it goes into the center of the place. To put it into perspective,
Oh,
Edge.
battle map.
We are adults.
you two would be over here.
Damn, look at us.
Yeah, really close.
Best buddies already.
Yup.
So, from perspective, first of all, you would see the wolf. Where are my wolf icons? You would see the wolf, that is a bit bigger than you would have expect from a normal wolf, brush out of the woods, and Sabine and Skux are about almost behind it, still running, but you both are starting to get out of breath. And the wolf, for some apparent reason, is still very energetic, which Sabine, you, with your experience with animals, already find very strange, as this is not common for normal wolves. At this point, you would have expected ambushes, attacks from its fellow wolves, or anything of the sort. The wolf itself, it seems like it doesn't have a finish of energy, and it goes into the center as you all are trying to chase it at the same time. You're like this, just like, let's keep it like this. And on this side and this side are the two entrances that I had that I had discussed. You both are. Peter is a bit flabbergasted as what is happening. Charles already saw it and expected it. And the wolf instantly goes into the opening that is a bit more lighter, a bit more open. As the wolf charges into that opening, it does a little howl sound. And everybody of you who has any form of spellcasting ability feel a little chill around your spine from the howl, and you can already see, as you're all chasing it towards the clearing, that the vines around the opening are starting to close in. For those who are chasing the wolf, I would like for you to do another athletics check, and whoever can cast spells has to do so with disadvantage. So
Oof.
that's 13. Can
10.
you cast spells, Sabine?
Depends what you consider a spell. Are my bow skills like Hunter's Mark a spell? Zephyrus Strike, Hail of Arrows?
Everything. If you have spells in your spell list, then they are considered
Okay.
spells.
Okay, then I do.
Okay. Skux, do you have spells? No, right? I don't think so.
No, not what you would call spells, no.
No, all right. Dolvain has spells. Okay. This means that Zolb, Mittens, and Sabine roll with disadvantage. We get 8, 10, 16, and 13. Let me do my own first roll on my side.
Oh, the magic rolls on his side. It begins, boys.
Right.
At least there are no crabs this time.
I'm sorry to inform you, all rolls have failed.
because I have to do them individually for each of you.
Wait, what?
Oh, sorry, I forgot to ask. While this is happening, while I'm doing these opposed rolls, because I have to do this 4 times, what will Peter and Charles do as they see this happening?
I wanted to cast sleep on the wolf.
You're
I
surprised.
just like pointed at them and then like, are they your friends?
Okay, so
To the wolves!
RP.
I just look. What?
I love it.
Okay, and let's see. Okay, so against Mittens and Sabine, I failed. Against Kux and Xolp, I succeeded. This means that Sabine and Mittens are now exactly behind the wolf.
The prime perfect
Xolp,
position for a ranger.
Xolp and Xolp and Skux are a bit more behind, unfortunately. And well, now you have a choice. Will Sabine and Dolvain keep chasing the wolf because you are just in time? And for Skux and Zolp, it'll be, well, we'll see when the Sabine and Mittens have done their decision.
Okay, so can you again describe what the wolf is currently doing?
So the wolf is already past the opening.
Mm-hmm.
It is starting to go further and further, and it's starting to fade. You and Dolvain were not as much affected by the roll as could have been from my side. Even though you were with disadvantage, and the only one who had normal rolls still lost. So you are still behind it, trying to. You have time to go beyond the opening before it closes. Is what I'm trying to say.
So I will look at my buddy to my right here and be like, whatever you're after better be worth it, because if anything, you're going alone, because I'm going back to Skux.
Okay. So you decide to stay. Mittens, what will you do? Will you follow the wolf on your own?
Yeah, my character senses blood and wants his necklace
Alright.
back at all costs.
All right, so you follow the wolf as you both go away from the clearing. That entrance closes in completely on itself, and it's completely done. At the same time, just as the running happened, Zolp and Skux just arrive as the vines close in on themselves. And well, yeah, what will you do as you see that the strange high elf that followed it just went straight through, not even paying attention to what Sabine said, just bam goes in. The entrance is so closed off right now that it is very hard to pass at all. What will you do?
Quickly look for a way inside.
Okay. Well, considering we already know how sort of the environment is, doing a quick look around, you see that there is another entrance over here, at least what is considered an entrance, as the trees are also arching in that way. You also do notice 2 other creatures on the other side.
I ready and act. No.
Oh,
No, I look
dare ya.
at I look at Skux and I'm like, it's not worth it. We'll get more.
I'll still cursing goblin and nod.
In Goblin, I repeat to him, just calm down for now.
All right. So at this point, the ball is in your court. What will you characters do? Interact with each other or any of the sort? Give it your best shot.
Hey Charles, let's go ask them.
Yeah, let's ask what that wolf was about.
Yeah.
There, fellow. Oh, I
Hello,
can't.
what?
I can't proceed.
Fellow humanoid.
Mm. He said to the
Yeah.
thiefling and the two goblins.
I will stand here since I cannot approach you guys for some reason. There's a pond here or something. Anyway, hello. What was that wolf about, if I may ask?
I will look at Skux and ask him, can you sense the pendants?
Can I?
I don't know what your goblin can do.
At this level, you cannot interact with your pendants from a distance. At least not yet.
No, they are gone.
I'll just rock and be like, ah.
You do know that they still exist. They haven't shattered, they haven't been destroyed, but they are still there.
Need to find a way around.
Mhm.
I don't know how to interact with those two because I generally look at humans as hostiles.
All
So I'll
right.
just
Okay.
glare at them with beady, glowing orange eyes.
Very good. Very good. All right. So both Peter and Charles notice the aggressive stance of Skux. Yeah, it is understandable that considering Charles is covering up his head, his face, be seen as a as a as a negative intent. Peter, with its well human-like features, are already making Skux on edge. But at the same time as this is happening, we see the other goblin, dwarf, whatever the hell, is doing something there. What are you doing?
I'm scratching and smashing it where the wolf disappeared to, screaming
Let's go.
contemptibly, and trying to get through to my coin.
All right. As
Peter,
you are
maybe shouldn't interact with these people. They seem kinda on edge.
Oh, you think
Quite
so?
literally.
and as yeah, actually, let's just keep it as background sounds, where it's always continuously
Bang,
screaming
bang.
profanities and trying to scratch at the vines that just keep growing back. Let's just keep that in the background, like a radio. Peter, Sabine, you are sort of like walking towards each
Mhm.
other. How is your interaction going to go?
First of all, I would like to know if I notice that the forest is moving. Am I aware that this is a changing forest? Like all of these things. Like, what is my
Mm,
current knowledge, or am I just in a forest?
so let me first start by initiating that you and Skux did enter a forest
Mm-hmm.
because your goal was to find the
Yep.
Wishwoods.
That's why I asked, am
Um,
I aware that I am in them?
Currently, no.
Okay. No, I will step forward a little bit more and look at the two humanoids that are clearly not half elves or anything like that. And I'm like, don't mind Skooks. He doesn't like tall people. As long as you're on his good side, everything's fine. If you're not, you're dead.
Right. Okay. That
All right.
definitely gives me a sense of calm. Yes.
I'm not good at social interactions, by the way.
And
Get a
Skirks is
-1 in
even worse.
charisma.
I should be okay, but
I have a -1 in charisma.
Just because you have a high or a low charisma does not mean that
I know.
the way you interact with another person is always going to go bad. It can sometimes come over as awkward, but it can sometimes be the correct way to interact with another person.
Right.
Okay.
So
What
I'm
was that?
Peter.
I'm Charles. Nice to meet you.
I will also introduce myself as Sabine. And say that the goblin, the one that is not currently cursing and bashing against the trees, is called Skux, and that I don't know the other one.
Kareen, could you maybe like up the volume of your mic? You sound a little bit quiet compared to the rest.
Interesting.
I will inform them that if they had a comrade, that he went ahead
Oh,
and is kind of locked out, whatever the move were.
all right. So, to set the stage for you all, currently you saw a high elf running after a wolf who has multiple possessions of either you all or whatever else it is. And ran straight through one of the openings. It howled, which made it so that the opening closed. And you see that the other opening, which is a bit smaller, somewhat darker and eerie, but from where Peter is and Charles, you do see that from the ground, you see it curving towards the right. So here going towards that way.
I'm sorry, did you ping on a map? I didn't see it.
Yes. So here is the entrance,
Mm-hmm.
and actually it goes like out of the zone, but it then goes towards the right, indicating that it might be going in the same direction.
All right. So I'm gonna ask them, what are you looking for? Like, why are you here? What is going on in this place? We were just on our travels, and suddenly there's a whole group of you guys here.
Well, basically, we just got teleported out of nowhere, and now we are here. If you want to check, there are some teleport circles, or at least what remains of it, like a bit to the back.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna sniff some grass.
Sniff some grass.
That's one way to do it.
All right. At this point, while the rest is conversing with each other, what are you doing, Skux?
I am
Sneaking
looking
looking.
towards the exit there and contemplating on just marching on.
All right, all right.
Actually, I will say that I'll take this route. If you guys want to follow up, then follow up. If not, stay behind. Do whatever you're doing.
So as you are talking with each other, behind you in the back, you see Zolp still, just give me back, give me, it's trying to scratch its way through the thing. And it's like, you. He goes and he goes like a step further, taking out its tinderbox, opens like a fire, and throws it. But as he throws, he throws it like in a weird way because of its erratic movements, and instead like the match goes like right where is like the inside of the eye towards the nose, like and burns him a little bit. You take 1 point of damage. That's the first damage of the
Yay!
campaign.
Let's go.
I just look like and say that was kind of cool.
I will shake my head and just say I hate goblins.
All right, so now you were given a direction. The choice is kind of obvious. You will either follow Skux or do something else.
I have to follow Skirks.
I look at Peter and be like, "Are we gonna follow them?"
I mean that's not a bad idea, but what about the one with anger issues?
Hmm, I mean, he's not art problem, right?
So clearly, Zolp, at this moment, the pain from the little match accident has not really calmed you down, but it kind of makes you think a little bit with an other state of mind. And what would that do?
Sort of coming to sort of more of a clearer mind, I look around at the others and see the goblin and the tiefling walking off, and I shout to them across, "Hey, stinking goblin! Do you know how to get there?"
Amazing.
I'll just look back at him, point towards the dark exit, and say, "Your item is that way, Ratbeard."
Oh, brilliant! Thank you.
I love it.
And I go that way.
All right. Peter, Charles, what are you two going to do?
I guess we're gonna follow them.
I mean, yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Well, there are many ways. So to set the stage a little bit again, I indeed sort of pushed it towards this, but there are still other ideas that you can. And for example, with how I'm just going to say it as it is. For example, Etherson whispered me, "Can I put it on fire?" So that's where that role happened. If I'm just going to go on a limb and just state things that not even I have prepared. Peter can say, "I want to go back the way that the wolf came from." Charles can say, "I want to go back to my camp." Uh, Zolp can still continue to gnaw on the vines or other things. So um, I'm trying my best to not make it as one-dimensional, but I know sometimes it can look like I'm doing everything one-dimensional, but it can go in many ways. Just open your mind, ask questions. That's what makes it easier for everyone.
God, let me ask you a question. Is there
Yeah.
something at our camp that we can recover, or would that just be a fruitless effort?
Same for me.
You will get extra camping supplies. You will lose a camping supply otherwise.
I mean, there is nothing around me.
I
No,
will
you
look
are
at
teleported here.
yeah. I will look at Skux and say, You wait here, and I'll just grab the important stuff, and then we'll go further."
Then I will say the same to Peter, since
Yeah.
he's like the only person I trust at the moment.
So I
All
would
right.
go alone.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go to my
So
place.
while this is happening, so Charles is going to get his stuff. Sabine is going to get her stuff. Peter is just going to wait, and Zolp is into a staring contest with the other goblins.
Lick the wall.
We're gonna change scenery, literally.
Good luck, my man. I hope I didn't abandon you in your time of need too hard.
All right. We are going to set the stage again. And over here we have the wolf currently being chased by a very, very exhausted high elf who has been running non-stop at this point. So let me reiterate, you're a very, very exhausted high elf right now. You're like, this motherfucking wolf, and it's still like hopping and going fast for whatever reason it is, and you're like, when it goes two steps, you go one step every time, and you're trying to find it, and at this point, it has gone very, very far away until the other side. Um, so you need a moment. You sit on the ground, exhausted, disappointed that you lost a bit of your athletic touch with all the going around trying to find a mythical forest and losing your touch of, uh, of running and your training that you got into the in the Imperial Army. Um, So now you're in a different path than you would have expected. And what do you do?
I look around and try to see where I am.
All right, I would like for you to roll me a perception check. That's in the same row as with your athletics, but a bit more downwards.
Which one again? Sorry.
Perception.
Ugh.
Ooh,
Well, so the amount of sweat that is falling towards your eyes and your hair that has sort of like sticking to your face because of it is not really helping with your first at least sight around you. At least not for nothing specific. What you do notice, no matter how, because it's not like you're blind, you do notice a camp over here. But it looks ravaged.
I mumble how much I hate wolves, and I go to the camp.
Right. You can move your character, by the way.
Oh,
Right. Let us see. So, as you approach the camp, I mean, you let's just say not over there, but over here. Just as you get over here, you suddenly feel a cold air around you. Not so much where there is an immediate danger, but you feel a heart chill. Kind of like when you open the door when you're inside with the with the heating system on, and then you go outside without something around your neck, and then that cold air like seeps into you from the your neck, and your hackles like go up, and in front of you materialize two shadowy figures. They don't really look at you. One figure is. Roll me a perception check again to understand what is in front of you. All right, that's decent enough. You discern that one is probably some kind of elvish on the right side. You notice that she, at least is she, you notice that she's holding a bow. Um, but it's like she's sitting on the front of the fire on a little rock, with both of her hands like on her face, like, and you see the shadowy figure, like her shoulders like going up and down. You can deduce that it's crying.
mm-hmm.
On the left side, you see at least a bit better from your perspective, um, a dwarven silhouette, and it has two pistols, one on each of its sides, but it's not in its. It doesn't have them in his hand. They are like teeth on either of his sides. And can you roll me an insight check while you're looking at the dwarf? Oh, barely enough. The the expression that the dwarf has is one of melancholy. Oh my god. Melancholy. Uh,
Melancholy.
Melancholy, yeah, and uh, regret probably. Um, they both, at least the dwarf, keeps staring at the fire, which is has been out for like a long while. But at the same time, you see the same sort of black silhouettes over the fire happening. Um, but you don't hear sounds. You see the the elvish character crying in her hands, and the dwarfish figure silhouette is just staring inside this fake silhouette of a flame.
Okay, so can I use items already?
In what sense would you like to use an item?
Well, I would like to use my torch to get close and see
Oh yes,
the
yes. If you have a
silhouettes are from.
torch, yes, that is possible. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let me first take a look at your character sheet. Um, all right, so you have 10 torches. We're going to change that into 9 as you use one. There we go. So you use your torch.
Yeah, use torch to get close by and actually see or want to see more brightly what is going on
Right.
here.
So you may go closer, about one or two, two hexes, 1 or 2 hexes. Yeah, very good. As you approach with the torch, the silhouettes just stay silhouettes. There is no sound coming from them because they're not physically there. You notice that the it's like the light of the torch like touches one side of the silhouettes, then the rest, and then it continues behind them still. Like there was a part that just cut off, and they don't even notice your presence as you approach them. Um, and well, that's basically what is happening currently in front of you. It does weird you out quite a lot. That's for sure. What do you do?
Well, so I swing the torch, like seeing if anything moves really, and
Right, you swing the torch and
to see if there's
nothing
any movement.
particularly happens, but as you do swing the torch, more light shines upon the tent, which is ravaged over there. And in that tent, you see at least a bedding over on like partially outside. It is a bit destroyed, but the rest is going inwards.
Well, I check in the tent to see what's left.
All right. As you pass the lady elvish thing, you as normally when you do approach tents, you would by um, by habit keep the torch at arm's length away. Um, you as you extend your arm, the torch actually just goes through the lady while she's not even looking at you. She is just still hunched over, like crying, as if on repeat. Um, Over there. You do notice that. As you go closer, you see that the bedding has a small, kind of like when you go camping and you have those little sleep sacks where you have that one little part where your head can still be outside if you zip it up. And in that part, it's like closed downwards completely. Um, that's at least how you see it. Kind of like it's coupling, it's that opening closed.
Hmm. So
What
I
will you
try
do?
to open it.
All right, as you I would like for you to first roll me, actually no, I'm not going to do that. So as you open the little thing, you see a small pouch in the middle of it.
Yeah, I check the pouch.
All
I
right,
slowly go grab it.
you slowly go grab it. All right. As you take the pouch, you can already feel and hear the sounds of coin in that pouch. Um, and by opening the pouch, you have gained 5 gold pieces.
Nice.
I'm
Oh,
going to add that for you in your inventory. Um, that's the first gaining. Is there anything else you would like to do at this camp?
Is there anything else I can do as my character? As a question.
It depends on what your actions are. Otherwise, it's kind of obvious what else you can do.
Well, I just take. I just check the tent if there's anything else that I can take.
Right. Roll me a perception check.
uh-uh.
Mm, That's super decent. You would need to like move around a lot of stuff, combined with the fact that you have a torch in your hand. You can't really go any further inside without burning everything. Let's just say that you do see that there is a second bedding on the inside that is still of decent quality, question mark. It could be helpful as a camping material for any forms of rests, like short or long ones.
Yes, so I notice I am pretty tired, so I decide to lay on it for a while.
Oh,
Take
okay. That's good. All right. You take a small rest, which helps you, by the way. That was very good. So I'm going to give you a little rested bonus. Let me take a look at what I will exactly do. There we go. A little icon is now on your character. The next strength-based roll you will do, with the exception of strength-based rolls, will be rolled with advantage
okay.
because you feel a lot better after resting. As you exit the tent, which also means you close um, you you put out your torch. The rest was short, like not like as in short long rest as we explained, but let's just say you rested for like 20 minutes, and as you exit, you still see the same two silhouettes, but a little bit more faded. Um, and as you look upwards with the open clearing, you see that what at least would look like the sun is probably going downward, so it's still becoming more and more night. What will you do now?
Uh,
There are no wrong answers.
Oh, there definitely are.
Commit seppuku.
No.
Just dies.
I check if the sunlight has anything to do with the absence of moving in the shades.
I think I understand what you're trying to say. You don't need to roll for this. You can already deduce that the lack of sunlight makes it so that the shades are less visible, but they're still there. You did try to like wave your hands through them, but it's like they are there, but well, you can't interact with them. The map is big, so you still have a lot of. So when you mostly when you enter a big map, I have to explain it like this, guys, because it's actually Mitten's first D&D experience. So the idea is that you can check all around, see stuff, ask questions. How does this look like? Why is this like this? Can I do this? Will this work? Or you can just say, I'm going to run where the wolf went through, or I'm going to inspect this trunk, or like how you did. And maybe sometimes you might even surprise me with like, okay, I would like to rest. Sure, why not? That is a good idea.
Hmm.
Or you can just forego and just keep going. That's also a possibility.
So the campfire is out, right?
At this point, the campfire was always out. What you saw was a silhouette of what would have been a campfire, just like how you see the silhouettes of the two shades.
Maybe I'll use my torch to put the campfire back on.
The torch is out because you
Hmm.
went to sleep, so you had to put it out. You'll have to use another one if you want to do that.
Oh yeah, sure. Actually, do
All
I
right.
have anything else to light a fire? Tinderbox, perhaps?
Well, the thing is, You do have a tinderbox, but yeah, you asked for a torch, but you
Yeah.
can use a tinderbox. The thing is that the wood that is currently on the camp itself is already used, but there is enough like dry wood around to remake it. So let's just say without expending a torch, you can reignite the fire. As you reignite the fire, the shades themselves become much more, let's just say, visible. You see more. They're still completely like black in the sense like you're watching a negative picture, and at this point you can hear the crying sounds of the elf-like lady. You hear the disappointed sigh of the dwarf as well, as it is looking into the fire. And curiously enough, your fire, the normal gold reddish fire, as it flickers, it's almost like it's a mirror of the shady fire. So when it flickers towards the left, the other one goes towards the right, and whatnot, which is kind of weird to see, but you cannot immediately discern as to why it is like that. As you do light up the campfire, um, you you notice something. Um, you notice something in the shady version of that fire. Um, it's starting to become smaller, and as it becomes smaller and fades out, you see that the dwarvish shade um, stands up and goes next to the elvish one, and puts a hand on her shoulder. Um, she looks up at the dwarf, and he nods with his head. Uh, she wipes away the tears, and they both start to walk towards the opening where the wolf went.
Well, I just followed them.
All right. As they go further and further away from the campfire, uh, keep it in your pants, Anther. Um, and as they go away from the source of light, which is your campfire, they slowly starts to fade away until you cannot see them anymore. So it happens around here. So what will you do now? Now you do not see any more shades. Your campfire is still on, and you feel a bit better after resting.
I
You
just
managed
decide
to
to carry
find
on.
a bed rest and a few pieces of gold, and you want to carry on?
Yeah.
All right, so you carry on. We will change scenery again. Let me take a look first. All right. Okay, give me a little minute just to be sure nothing goes wrong here. So, um, you may talk with each other if you wish to.
Oh, the help.
I mean, am I
Oops,
almost done
okay.
set, like, finishing up my camp?
You're not finishing the camp. You're picking it
So
up.
Yeah,
you
finished at picking it or whatever.
so
Charlie is sitting by a campfire and forgot what he was going to do.
so let's just say we are back to our original position here. Charles has just come back, having put up his camp supplies back together in a pretty compact little bag behind himself. Sabine has done the same, although hers is a bit bigger, considering they are talking about
Yep.
2 people. As
As intended.
intended. And you all decide, from what I understand, to go towards the other entrance. And I will move you all towards the next page. I've taken the liberty to
boy.
already place your
Oh.
characters here.
Okay.
So at this point, I would like to kindly ask for you to slowly advance your characters. Try to have somebody maybe in front or somebody maybe at the back and whatnot, for potential surprises. One little second.
Already rolling stuff, huh? Oh, not even. I would look around and be like, who wants to go first? Who can see in the dark? And then just eye up the 2 humans that I believe are humans. I hope you brought something to help you.
So let me first. What's this? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let me first start with this. A little bit of
Oh, we got
sphere
music. Let's go.
Ooh.
All right. So when I said it was a dark opening, I meant it. You are feeling the eerie dread around you as everything becomes more and more compact. You're all on edge, that is for sure. It is an unfamiliar environment, and everyone around you, the vines are darker, the trees are closer together. The sunlight is next to none, as at least one of you will notice. For others, you are fortunate that your racial heritage gives you a form of sight, but do not be overly confident, for you are in an unknown environment with potential dangers. You do feel the temperature here has dropped significantly, even though there is no wind, at least not a lot. What will you do?
I would like to cast Mage Armor on myself.
Then you may reduce a spell slot and cast Mage Armor.
And I'd like to go in stealth and start scouting.
You may stealth with advantage because you are in a very dark environment.
I would also like
I
to.
disappear in front of their eyes.
I would like to light the torch so I can actually see.
Yeah.
Torch.
All right, I'll keep that in mind, or at least inform me when it is relevant, Edge.
I will
I
also.
ready
You
my
stealth
mace
on
and shield.
28. Sabine, you also stealth on 25, also with advantage. I would like for you to just give yourself the stealth icon, which will be this one, the little ninja icon. That way I know that you are stealthed.
Also,
Right.
I look over to Skux and I say, don't count on me too much here. And then I put my bow to my back and pull a little dagger out from the side.
All right. So you ready your dagger rather than your bow? Okay.
I mean, what am I gonna do in here? So far, it
Mhm.
doesn't look like there's space.
Indeed, there are advantages and disadvantages in a lot of stuff. All right. So,
Since I have the torch, I would like to go in first.
all right, you have a torch. Good for me to know. I need to edit your character's light.
I will stop him just right there, tell him to quiet, and keep close.
Do you stop him from advancing, or do you stop him from opening the torch?
I will be very negative to the torch, but I will stop him from advancing.
All right. Then I will do this. Let me see how far a torch goes. For this relevancy, I suppose 5 is fine.
I can see.
All right. Did you reduce a torch in your inventory?
All right.
All right. You also reduced your mage armor.
I did.
Your spell slot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I will put an icon on you to remember that you have mage armor. All right.
This is 17.
You may continue to the path that you are intending.
Now we'll sneak on over here, look through the corner.
All right. You do traverse, and you see that the trees, or at least what looked as trees, but in the end, you notice that a lot of the trees are actually rocks that looks like trees, and they are quite high, as high as the trees would normally be, and even some trees on those rocks from a distance. As you take your first corner, Charlotte, what is your passive perception again?
My passive perception is
15, wasn't it? Yeah,
oh,
because
wait.
you
Oh
made
yeah,
fun
the
of its
passive wisdom.
15.
Yeah, okay, yeah, 15.
15. You, as you are following the rest, but the rest does not hear this, hear faint giggling noises.
I go, guys, do you hear that? I hear laughter.
I
The rest
look
does
at
not
him and
hear
I'm
it.
immediately pointing my finger to the mount.
Awesome. I love this.
I start laughing.
Do I hear it?
With a active perception search, you also start to hear faint giggling noises. Although it's not specified at you, it's more of like an echo of an echo of an echo, probably.
Yeah.
But it is there.
I will draw my short sword and keep on going.
All right.
In a previous life, I would have played the bagpipes now.
Fuck you and your fucking bagpipes. I will back him them over to this corner.
All
And
We
right.
roll
keep on walking.
Can I just look down the path and roll perception? You explain me what I'm seeing?
Sure, you may roll a perception.
Hold on.
Maybe you'll see something cool. That's decent. So, in front of you, you don't really immediately see any enemies.
Oh.
You do see a faint tree over here that you are unfamiliar with. It is also right next to you.
Oh. I would like to have a look at it closer.
Let's just say with the same perception roll, it is an unknown tree to you.
Can I touch it? Does it have bark? Is there anything
Okay,
interesting?
so you want to
Branches
touch
or
the
something?
tree?
Yes.
Okay,
He's
roll
dead.
me a d10.
Oh
Flat.
boy. Well, let's go.
Poisonous.
1d10. If it is, then it is.
All right. As you touch the tree, from the point where you go with your finger, small yellow lines, like veins, go towards like the entire tree, and it illuminates a little bit, kind of like when in those lakes when those bioluminescent amoeba are in there, and you go over with your hand, and it's almost like the same kind of glow that you get, but the entire tree, and it stays for like a few seconds, and then it goes away again.
Does it have branches, or how? Am
There are
I barking
branches.
up a tree here that is nothing, basically, or can I do something here?
So at the moment, you don't see anything else on that tree, but it is quite interesting to see trees that illuminate on touch.
I will keep this in mind.
Interesting.
Oh boy.
I will roll a perception and check out both ways
Right.
to see if I see enemies or anything of interest.
All right. As you look left and right, you notice the same kind of trees over here and over there that you saw on the floor. Can you roll me another perception then?
Oof.
Mm-hmm. Even though with that roll, you hear faint murmurs coming from this direction.
I will
What, from
inform
behind
everyone.
us?
It's just general direction.
Okay, so it's not
I will
really
inf-
in the street. Okay.
I will look back at the others and point to the well, it would be our right. There.
Charles has heard it without needing to do a perception check.
I'll walk down slowly here.
You may do so. All right. Just as you arrive at that corner, Skux, I want you to roll me d20.
Yeah.
Instant death.
Okay. So you, although you were stealthily, you do step a little bit on a heightened branch. You don't fall, but you have to touch the tree on your left side again, and it flares up, just as what happened with Sabine. But because you put in more pressures, it flares up a lot, and it doesn't go away. So suddenly, it is as if you have another light source for a little moment.
I will quickly pull my hand back.
Right, the light still stays. You don't immediately see it fade away.
Nothing else happens.
Well, at the moment.
I will be very confused, but I'll keep on going then. I'll look through this corner.
All right.
And keep on walking.
As you approach, you hear faint murmurs become speech. Does anybody of you know Draconic?
Hold on.
Infernal.
Nope.
Yeah, infernal only.
Abyssal, maybe?
No, Draconic. All right.
No.
Unfortunately, you cannot discern the murmurs. And the words just sound like gibberish to you all. Would have been an idea. And as Skux moves one more further, he will notice a. If Skux would move one further, he would notice a small shade at the end of the path.
Oh, it's just a shade.
You see the shade at the end of the path. A silhouette.
Quick question. Do I recognize shades? Like
With your
what?
dark vision, you can.
No, I mean like for my setting. Do
I
I?
deleted myself.
Are they considered
Shades are not
souls?
considered souls
Damn it.
in this situation. No, they are not souls. One little moment. Okay. But you do see it very, very, very faintly. It's like, although you hear the murmurs, it is far away. You see it a bit hunched over with its back towards you, looking into the wall, It almost looks like it's cowering as it's keeping a big lance in its hands, probably, at least from where you are.
I will walk a little bit closer, and then I will check the surroundings and see if there are any items around the shade or whatnot.
Very possible. Actually, after the shade, you see the exact same lance, but physically.
Oh, treasure!
Mm,
What? Do I see anything else but the lance?
At this moment, not immediately, but you do notice that now that Peter with the torch is coming closer, that the shade gets more defined in its appearance. You see that it is a dragonborn, or at least what might be left of it. You don't know. You see that although it is a black shade, you can understand that it is a dragonborn of black scales. It has, it's still clutching its sword, still murmuring in Draconic.
I will inspect for other items and the lance itself.
So the lance itself is of a normal lance. As Peter also comes closer, again the Dragonborn becomes more and more defined, and you can actually hear, although you don't understand the words, you hear them more clearly. The lance itself is a normal lance, at least at first glance. And as for other items, not immediately, although you do notice that behind the Dragonborn, behind that lance, there is still a darkness that you cannot immediately discern.
I want to look at Skux and be like, do you think this is worth it? We don't have use for that lance.
Oh, I'm completely ignoring the lance now that it doesn't have anything of value on it. I will beckon Peter closer with the torch,
Okay.
Right?
and I'll go closer to the shade.
Oh boy.
All right. From the point of where Peter is, there is enough bright light, and the shade is no longer cowering. It's started to kind of like straighten its back, and then it turns around, and it's like it's looking straight ahead, and let's just say all three of you, Peter, Charles, and Sabine, Peter, and Skux, can roll an insight check
Insight,
to
interesting.
understand what is happening with the Dragonborn. Both Peter and Sabine see genuine fear in its eyes. It is afraid, but it's almost not like looking at you, and it's backing away slowly but surely, and it's like there is a big part missing, but it almost looks like something ripped a hole through its body. It's like going in the air and is then pushed towards the wall like a grand bash, and its shadowy version of the lance clicks on the ground, and then it clicks perfectly into where the physical lance is. The darkness behind that shade was actually the body of this dragonborn, enveloped in vines, where you see that it is going inside its mouth and outside one of its empty eye sockets, for example. It's everywhere around it. You see a corpse of what was once that shade.
Can I determine if it's afraid of the light?
The shade is no more.
Oh, it's gone. Okay, good.
It's gone. Let's just assume that this token in front of you is now the dead body.
And do I see anything on the dead body?
You see what is left of its corroded armor.
Hmm.
Let me take a look at something. Give me a minute.
At 5 diseases.
Nothing instantly. No.
And oh no, never mind. I was about to ask what now. What about now? But I will just nod and go back and say there's nothing left here.
All right.
I would like to look at Charles and be like, you should do whatever you priests do. At least give him a final farewell or something. Bless it or
Alright.
whatever.
I walk up to the, well, whatever is left of the Dragonborn, and I say some ritual prayers. With all the blessing that my god will grant, I will grant you a lovely passage to the next life or whatever. I don't know.
I love it.
You see Charles enact this ritual. Sabine, I would like for you to roll a history check with advantage.
Yep.
All right. And then, in combination with that, I would like for you to roll an insight check with advantage.
Yep.
All right. All right. I'm going to ask Edge to come with me to a different channel
Oh,
while I whisper
boy.
something to him. Let's go to the second tavern thing.
For the
Okay.
secrets, let's go!
Yeah, don't look at his stream, please.
What are you gonna do?
You notice from your history checks with the different books that you have read that a cleric of like Charles should normally do the ritual differently from what he has done in front of you. You also noticed that the way he did, even though the ritual was not as what you expected it to be towards your books, a lot of fakeness in it. There was a form of like not really deception, but more of like not doing what he actually needed to do, and also did that with like a way of like I don't care. So you are already not really on alert, but you notice that this is not your run-of-the-mill cleric that you would normally grant a
Okay.
holy passage.
Cool.
All right?
Thank you.